like a brownie.
As soon as you start, let go. Give me your heart, give me your soul, take me with all your mind. Come through the mountain, be satisfied. There's a place, there's a love, get lost inside. Come through the mountain, let me testify. There's a place, there's a love, get lost inside. Come through the mountain, let me testify. This is the mountain. There's no denying beauty makes a sound. We can't escape it. There's no way down. It's on the mountain I know that's those are yours. You can do it. Yes, we can. Somehow that frees me to take my hands off of my life and the way it should go. Oh, God, you don't need me. Somehow you want me. Oh, how you love me. Somehow that frees me to open my hands up and give you control.
You guys, Kate's on. You wave to her. If you want to come like. Y'all can kind of hear me. I don't know why I'm typing, but we're letting everyone else finish gathering, and then we're going to get started here in a couple minutes.
I 100%.
Body count presents the top 30 Christian families. Because you're the only gal I see. When you're finished stating that why do I even need to read topics for me like that? Standing right in front of me.
Flynn Rider or Aladdin? Like a second one.
You gotta give context though. Like,
We would have been fighting over Flynn. What did you say?
yeah.
You're in the right camp.
Zachary Levi every day.
Yeah, exactly. Zachary Levi.
Hey guys, everybody grab a seat. What's this?
Do you mind if I come to with a whole piece? Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting. That verse doesn't apply to you.
Is your name David? Because you're a man of my own heart.
Hey, would you like to come to my small group? And by small, I mean 2 people. And you and me.
So, what did you give up for lunch?
Hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but here's the book of numbers, so let's read it. I have this Christian marriage study thing. I just was wanting to know how to go. I feel like I've been wandering in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights because you were that tempting. So, you know how God sent manna to his chosen people? Well, I'm manna enough for you. Are you Egyptian? Because if you don't go out with me, I'm gonna unleash pestilence and plagues on you and your family.
I hope you believe in unconditional election because there's nothing you can do to change the fact that I choose you.
So you think your fear now up because you denied my friend request 3 times. You know what sold me on the idea of total depravity? Because I feel totally deprived when I'm away from you. Are you a Pharisee? Because you're the fairest one I see. Hey, you can call me Judas because I'm about to kiss you on the cheek. But I'm betrayed.
Hey, I called you 5 times this week. Why have you forsaken me?
So I know that you've already invited Jesus Christ into your heart, but is there room for me? Would you prefer my kisses unforeseen or snot being wet? Or both? I would work 7 years, accidentally marry your sister, and then work another 7 more years just to get your phone number. Hey, do you want a Bible and chill? And by chill, I mean hold hands while we pray. Did you know that there are 4 kinds of love in the Bible? Eros, philia, agape, and the feeling I get when you walk into the room.
Am I Israel and your eyes the wilderness? Because I wouldn't mind getting lost in them for 40 years.
Holy smokes, you are hot. You are sending your husband into the front lines of battle. Have you accepted Jesus into your heart? Because you seem like a Chris 10 out of 10 to me. Would you please pray traveling glasses over me now?
Yeah, we're going.
On a journey to your heart. I want to get to know you. But only after we're married, of course. Do your feet hurt? Because I would gladly wash them for you if you would like.
I always try to remember WWJD. Who would Jesus date? Me.
Wait, am I about to get a message from God? Are you the Bible? Because I wouldn't take bits and pieces of what you say and twist them for my own personal gain. Are you not a measure? Because you just made this room 7 times hotter, and I'm not dying. Hey, can I have your dad's number? Do you think that you're called to singleness? Or do you think that you're called to mingleness? ChristianMingle.com. Hey, you want to see the Christian way to dance? Because my right foot doesn't know what my left foot is doing. Or you want a piece left on the floor by a small child because you are Christ. Oh, do you want to kiss? Dating goodbye together forever with me? Wow, doesn't it just feel like we're inside of God's will right now? I would rate you out of 7. 70 times 7. With God, I will always have victory. That's why I'm going to win your heart.
Do you have leprosy? Because my limbs are falling for you.
Can we go ahead and put our court date on the calendar? You know, the day that we're going to start courting. You are like the John to my Jesus because John was the one that Jesus loved. And you're John
Yes, those pickup lines are corny, just like most of the pickup lines I've heard other people use. So that's okay. All right, guys. Glad you're here. We're gonna get rolling here. Kind of quiet. There we go. All right. So there's a lot of announcements, a handful of announcements we've got to go through before we get rolling. We're excited to have Mercy here. She's going to lead worship for us tonight. It's going to be fun.
You don't know Mercy, some of you don't. Mercy works with Pastor Jared and Miss Laura in the children's ministry, but we get to hang out with her quite a bit too, which is fun. And she's a fan of y'all, so that works out really, really well. So for starters, Sunday is Father's Day. Hopefully you remembered that. If not, you've got a few days to recover. Okay, be sure and do something kind for your daddies, whether it's give them a high five or just maybe you just don't give them a hard time. Maybe that's the kind thing you do for him on Father's Day. I don't know. But do something for your dad for sure. But also know there's going to be no connection groups on Sundays. So not like in person or like online or whatever. We're just going to use that time to obviously still come to worship Sunday morning. We are gathering here. But then after that, you're home with your family. That's really, really good. And then don't forget, too, there's a service at 8:30 or 11. I know how much all of you love being up by 8:30. So I'm guessing most of you won't be at that service. But if you want to come that early, it's great. Janet's always at that one because she likes to do both. So, yeah, no, it's anyway, y'all come and worship. It's going to be really, really good. All right, so that's Sunday. Other stuff going on. I need y'all's help. We want to say thank you to Miss Dana for the brownies. If you've not gotten a brownie yet, we'll hook you up, too. But she just showed up at the church unannounced with a big box of brownies for the youth group. I thought we'd take a quick video and tell her thank you away. Can we handle that? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's not a big deal. All right, so everybody wave and say thank you, Miss Dana.
Thank you.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, I'm going to send that to her. That's really, really good. Again, if you did not get a brownie, let me know. Did everybody get a brownie on one?
I got a brownie.
Good. Brian's already feeling the effects of the brownies. That's excellent too. All right. Okay. Other thing too, guys, if you have a game or a recital or a concert or I don't even know, just the stuff you're doing this summer. I know some of your extracurriculars are finally kicking back off. Some of you are starting to work, which is great. But if you got any of that stuff coming up, let me know because I want to come watch, just like I've always done. All right. So I know a couple of your schedules, but by and large, I don't. So no kidding. Like if you have a job. Kylie can attest to this. I will show up at your job and buy whatever it is you're selling and hang out with you, okay? So, yes, ma'am. I will show up to Chick-fil-A for sure. I did get a picture of Bailey the other day at Chick-fil-A. I haven't got to see her at Chick-fil-A yet, though. So, yeah, we'll make that happen, all right? But yeah, for real, send me stuff so I can come cheer you on, do your thing, all right? Tomorrow, our youth lunch is still going to be in the loft. So meet up here at noon. It's just for an hour. There's going to be tables set up. But just bring your lunch, whether you go buy one or you pack a lunch from home. You can do a little food trading if you want to. We'll allow that. We just hang out, we eat lunch together. Last week we watched America's Funniest Home Videos. I don't know if we'll do that again or not, but it was a great time. So that's up here tomorrow from noon to 1. So come hang out with us. Tomorrow afternoon, specifically between 5 and 7, but really anytime between 4 and 7, I need some strong guys or girls to come help lift fruit boxes. And don't think, actually, the fruit box is not that much bigger than that brownie box. It's really not that heavy. It's maybe 5 pounds. But we don't need some of our older ladies lifting the fruit boxes from the pallet and putting them in cars. So if you want to come help us give away fruit tomorrow, we would love to do that. Or you can come be a sign dancer. Brooklyn did that last week. You just stand on the side of the road and dance and wave, and people will wave back, and that's actually a pretty fun job. Or you can be a water distributor, or you can be a water boy for Jesus. That's a good job too. But come help be part of the fruit distribution tomorrow. If you would, let me know you're coming just so I know that. But if you want to help out, that's from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock tomorrow. But really, between 5 and 7 especially, I need at least probably 2 of you to come help. Again, lift the fruit boxes off the pallet, put it in people's vehicles. It's a pretty good gig. Several of you have already helped with that, which is cool, okay? And then have your family come tomorrow and get free produce, but not just for your family. Grab an extra box or 2 and take them to your neighbors. No kidding, especially if it's neighbors you know. If you just show up and say, hey, I have free fruit and vegetables for you. They like that. It's amazing. Like people tend to like free stuff, especially helpful stuff. And all of the fruit and vegetables, it's all fresh. It's all really, really tasty, at least if you like that particular. Like it's always apples and oranges and carrots and potatoes There were pinto beans in there one time. There was onions in there one time. But it's all really good, helpful stuff. And so if you take those to your neighbors, especially whether you think it's somebody who needs it or not, it's just a great way to love your neighbors. So show up, get some for your family, take some of your neighbors too. We want to share the wealth from those, okay? Miss Susan, our prayer Mimi, she is still praying for y'all. She misses getting to see y'all. She's not been able to come around a lot. But if you've got something you need praying about, you can always send a text message, and that's her number right there. She loves to pray for y'all. She's not going to ask you a bunch of follow-up nosy questions, whatever. Anything you tell her, it's all confidential. She just talks to Jesus about it. And then sometimes she'll encourage you and stuff. Certainly if you got any questions for her, but you can text her, or the prayer box is still back there, and I can take those to her, or she can come up and pick them. Actually, I can't take that. She's the one that's got the key for the prayer box, but that's back there in the back. But you can always text Miss Susan to pray for her. She's our prayer Mimi, and she loves to do that. And then last thing, if you've not done this yet, join the Remind, guys. I don't send you a text every day, but probably 3 or 4 times a week, we're sending you a text, whether it's events like tonight or lunch tomorrow, or a couple little mini Bible studies that we do. We love to do that. It helps keep you in the know on what's going on. So if you've not done that yet, send a text message to the number 81010 that says TLCUTH. That's youth in short, because I couldn't use all the letters. So, hey, Trey, glad you're here, man. So, all right, Miss Mercy, you ready to do this? Yeah. Very cool. Again, if you've never met Mercy before, this is Mercy. She's got a couple of great songs for us. You said we're going to start with How Great Are You, Lord, right? Awesome. Very, very cool. And then the folks at home, looks like there's 2 or 3 people watching online. They're watching you too. So smile pretty, sing loud. Let's go. Marcy, glad you're here.
Testing. Those tricks. Hello. Oh, there we go. Okay. Cool beans. How are y'all doing? Good. Y'all look nicely social distanced right now. More social distancing than I've seen anywhere else. Good job. Can y'all stand up for me? Okay. Let me pray for us real fast, and then we'll hop right into worship. Father God, thank you for who you are. Thank you for all you've done for us and our families, Lord. I pray right now, Lord, that you fill the hearts of the people here with worshipful thoughts, Lord, and that they will be able to worship you in spirit and in truth. I pray for their families right now, Lord, that you give them, provide reconciliation, Lord, and their families. And we pray that we'll go out from here and be witnesses for you wherever we go. In Jesus' name, amen. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are our praise, pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. All the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you all. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you all. Great are you, Lord. Peace, bring it all to peace. Storms surround you, let it break. At your name, call the seas to the raging still every wave. At your name, Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, silence fear. Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus, breathe. Call these bones to live. Call these lungs to see once again. I will praise Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Silence fear. Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Silence fear. Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Silence fear. Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. Your name is a light that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is alive, that the shadows can't deny. Your name cannot be overcome. Your name is high, forever lifted high. Your name cannot be overcome.
Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus. You silence fear. Jesus, Jesus. You make the darkness tremble. Jesus, Jesus.
Father God, thank you for everything that you've done in our lives, Lord. Thank you that you've already won the victory. Thank you that we have victory over sin and death, Lord. I pray, Lord, that we would allow the gospel to impact our life, that we would allow it to mold and shape who we are. Lord, I pray that we live lives worthy of who you are and worthy of the gospel, Lord. Lord, remind us of how we are in our state before you, Lord, how we are unable, Lord, to come to you without your Son, Lord. We love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Hey, y'all tell Mercy thank you. Real fast, Mercy, where are you from?
I grew up in Thailand, and I'm a missionary kid, so I grew up in Thailand. I lived there 15 years. I was born in Hong Kong. Hong Kong. And I was born in Hong Kong, lived there for 3 years, moved to Thailand, and now I'm here in Texas. And I've been here in Texas for 7 years, so I'm almost a Texan. I drove a tractor the other day,
Nice.
so I would say that I marked that one off the Texan list.
No, she's driven tractors. She likes to shoot guns.
I do like to shoot guns.
How do you feel about steak and Mexican food? There you go. Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
I think she's in. Very, very
There's
cool.
so much to love about Texas.
Yeah, for sure. No, Mercy is super fun to be around. She makes us laugh a lot. Hearing, no kidding, like hearing her perspectives just because she grew up in the mission field and not even like, well, what we would say is just like very weird, certainly compared to Texas. And it's not that it's weird, it's just dramatically different, right?
It's very culturally different.
Absolutely. But it's really, really neat to see just how those two things can intercross and how we can serve each other results. So Mercy's pretty handy to have along for a lot of reasons. And she's pretty good on a guitar and vocals too.
Yeah,
So
each of you, if you want a Chick-fil-A date, and I'll tell you about my life.
there you go. Yeah. So very, very cool. So, all right, last call on brownies. Did anybody not get a brownie? No? All right, so what we're going to do, since Mercy helped us out tonight, Mercy gets to take home the rest of the brownies. So there you go. Yeah. Did you get a brownie? Nice catch. That a boy. Very, very cool. All right. Mercy gets the brownies. All right, guys, we're in Mark chapter 5 tonight. Mark chapter 5. So Kate is not here. Kate and Jordan are on their way to Seattle. Kate's actually talking to y'all right now. So if you want to wave to Kate or yell at Kate, that's fine. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. And Becca is online too. Jordan. So and I don't know. And there may be a few other people online too. But anyway, Jordan and Kate are on their way to Seattle. Jordan's sister is getting married this weekend. That's pretty exciting. Yeah, Ashlyn is marrying Colin. Colin is the son of Melvin. So Melvin and Miss Patty are on their way to Seattle right now. And the Fairchilds are on the way. Like a whole bunch of Texans are on the way to Seattle right now for a wedding. It's going to be really, really cool. I hope they turn it into a Texas wedding. I really, really do. It's going to be great, right? So, yeah. Shotguns, whole 9 yards. It's going to be great, all right? But we're excited for them. They weren't honestly sure. They weren't sure they were going to get to go make this trip because of all the crazy going on. And Seattle's still really, really crazy now. So y'all pray for, I'm not worried about Kate and Jordan's safety or anybody else's safety, but they're going to see some crazy stuff inevitably. So pray for them, then pray them home because they really do like it up there. We don't want Kate to just stay in Seattle, right? So anyway. All right, Mark chapter 5. For starters, to be honest, who actually read it today or yesterday? Good job. If I didn't already give away the brownies, I would give you 2 extra ones. It's awesome. Good job. Mark chapter 5. So y'all are ready to teach now, right? Yeah. Very, very good. All right, who read at some point this week Mark chapter 4? All right, good. Yeah, this is good. And your day is not over. So if you haven't read Mark chapter 5 yet, before you go to bed tonight, still read it, and you're still meeting the Gospels Challenge. If you didn't know that we're doing that, guys, we're doing the Gospels Challenge this summer, and it's one chapter of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John every day, all summer long. By the end of the summer, we will have read all the Gospels. You don't have to read one chapter from each of those books. We're just rolling through the calendar. You can get one of those calendars, talk to me, we'll get you one before you leave tonight. But yeah, we're doing the Gospels Challenge. So Mark chapter 5 actually was yesterday, but there's a cool story that I want to go over together tonight that I think is going to be helpful. Today's actually Mark chapter 6. So if you've not read 5 or 6 yet, do that before you go to bed tonight. Neither one of them are long, all right? So let's jump in. Mark chapter 5. We're going to read the very first, really the first section of chapter 1. It's a story I bet a lot of you know. It's kind of cool. It's kind of freaky. It's kind of weird. It's pretty amazing. So let's jump into it, all right? Start at verse 1. So they arrived at the other side of the lake in the region of Gerasenes. All right. When Jesus climbed out of the boat, a man possessed by an evil spirit came out from the cemetery to meet him. This man lived among the burial caves and could no longer be restrained even with a chain. Whenever he was put into chains and shackles, as often he snapped the chains from his wrist and he smashed the shackles. No one was strong enough to subdue him. So day and night he wandered around the burial caves and in the hills, howling and cutting himself with sharp stones. All right, so this is a pretty crazy start to a chapter. If you read chapter 4, how does chapter 4 end? Because the crazy didn't actually start here for Jesus and his team. What's going on?
The storm.
The storm. What about the storm?
Jesus was sleeping on the boat. Like, stop.
How many of y'all been on a boat? Okay, like big boat, little boat. What kind of boat you been on? Well, okay, yeah.
Speedboat.
Speedboat, yeah. Okay, how many of y'all have been on, we'll just call it like a modern day fishing boat, but like Nick and Janet's boat. So, like big enough to put 8 or 9 people on it. Sure. Okay, so imagine being out on Lake Arlington in the middle of not just like a storm, in the middle of like a hurricane. We're not talking a cruise ship. You're not down the bottom of the ship chilling. Like, you're on Nick and Janet's boat in the middle of a hurricane. How many of you are going to be asleep? Probably most likely not. Yeah, Chris, I actually believe that about you. You could sleep through some stuff, right? Yeah. Chris falls asleep walking down the street, man. Like that's where he's at. All right. But for the rest of us normal human beings, sleeping in complete utter chaos feels pretty wild, unless you were super ridiculously tired, or maybe like you had taken a couple of Benadryl and you're physically unable to wake up. But I don't know that either of those things were true for Jesus. And Jesus is in the middle of the Sea of Galilee. He's traveling to a location with a specific mission. We're fixing to discover this mission, and he's dead asleep, and a storm hits. My question for you is, why do you think the storm hit?
Satan was trying to stop him from getting there.
Why do you think that?
Because he's trying to get to the demon-possessed man and cast the demons out of him. So.
Very cool. I think that's a really, really good. Now, we don't know for sure why this storm hit, right? Storms happen all the time. But this storm seems to have come out of nowhere, and then Jesus puts it down just as quickly. Because generally speaking, storms brew. You guys, you can see them coming, right? You know when they're coming, even when they didn't have weathermen that lie all the time in their day and age. You could still see a storm coming, right? And so you knew, hey, it's probably not a good time to get on a boat unless you just got a really serious mission. But chances are really good in this particular case, because the disciples showed no sign of saying, Lord, and the disciples frequently argued with Jesus. They don't say, Lord, it looks kind of stormy. Maybe we should just stay over here for now. Like Jesus says, get on a boat, let's go. They get on a boat, they end up in the middle of the storm. And then Jesus, after he wakes up, does what?
Quiet, be still.
Say it again.
Quiet, be still.
Quiet, be still. I want you to remember those words. Those are really important words, okay? Quiet, be still. But when he said quiet, be still, what happened? The storm went, whoop. That's actually a really good phrase. I'm sure it sounded exactly like that. Just whoop, right? The storm stops. The sea turned to it says it's like glass. Like everything went still, including the disciples. I really, not so much Mark, but a couple of the other places where this story gets told, it says the disciples were silent. So it really kind of makes me think I don't know, because the disciples come running to Jesus, there's a storm happening. Wake up. Don't you love us? And Jesus says, be quiet, be still. And part of me really wonders if Jesus wasn't talking to the disciples And the storm was like, I need to be quiet now because the master of the universe is talking. Right? Now, chances are really good Jesus is talking in the storm. But the disciples needed to be quiet, be still too, right? So at that point, all of them did. Now, they finish their journey. They end up on the other side of the Sea of Galilee, which again, if you could see it, it's really, we would call it a lake, but in Israel, for them, it's a sea, and that's fine. So they jump out of the boat, and they're met by a pretty unusual circumstance we just read. What'd you hear?
Crazy. It's like a weird name.
Crazy dude.
Was he a crazy dude?
No, it was like demon.
Okay, yeah, there it goes. There's a difference between a crazy dude and a demon-possessed dude, right? Crazy people, like something's legitimately wrong with their brains, like they can't function properly, like medicine can help. This guy, that wasn't his issue. And I'm going to prove that to you in just a second, by the way. When we get to it, if you haven't read the story yet, and you go like, wow, this is going to be interesting. What's going to happen? You're going to love this story. Yeah, this isn't a crazy guy. This is a demon-possessed guy. Yes, ma'am.
Did people think he was crazy? Like,
Absolutely.
Did they not think that he was demon possessed? Did they thought he was crazy?
So here's what's interesting. Where they lived was not a Jewish region. And so the idea, which makes you think he's a werewolf, right? He's howling, he's screaming. Matthew says that he was incredibly violent, meaning if you got around this guy, he would fight you. Then Mark says that he would frequently cut himself. And then it says that the people, in an effort to try to calm him, would chant. Because when you change somebody up, they always calm down, right? Yeah, totally. Yeah, they would chain him up in an effort to get him to chill out. He didn't chill out. He would break the chains and run around. And it finally reached the point where they just didn't deal with him anymore. And so he lived out in a cemetery. But the dude's demon-possessed. That's not, yeah. So again, if you don't understand the spiritual realm and you just see this person, yes, you would think they're crazy. Absolutely. Okay? And yes, there are some times when people do ridiculously crazy things because they are legitimately possessed by the enemy. Right? And sadly, it's not always easy to tell the difference. Sorry. This is one of the 1,000 reasons why we need Jesus in our lives, right? So Jesus jumps out of the boat, and Jesus doesn't like go looking for this dude. This dude comes running to him. Right? So let's jump in. Keep reading. Look at verse 6. When Jesus was still some distance away, the man saw him, ran to meet him, and bowed low before him. Now, think of everything that we just heard about. He would attack, he would fight, he would scream, he'd probably cuss, and it sounds like he had weapons of some kind, or at least by stuff that he made. But when Jesus comes rolling up, what's he do? Bows, like falls on his face, bows. Again, you're the disciples and you're watching this. Now, I don't know, again, because this isn't a non-Jewish reason, I don't know that the disciples kind of knew what was going on. They're still kind of reeling from the fact that a giant storm, a hurricane, just hit them, and Jesus just said, be quiet, and the storm did, and now all of a sudden they're landing. They don't know where they're at. By the way, chances are really good, it's still nighttime. So not only are you running into a demon-possessed person in a cemetery, but it's nighttime. Sounds like a fun time, right? Yeah. This is a pretty weird story. Keep rolling. This guy comes running up. He bows before Jesus. And he says, with a shriek, he screams. Now, okay, like this guy's not talking. He's screaming, right? Why are you interfering with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In the name of God, I beg you, don't torture me. For Jesus had already said to the spirit, come out of the man, the evil spirit. Right? Now, this is what's fascinating. It's not just that he bowed on his own. As this guy's running to him, Jesus says, come out, evil spirit. Dude hits the floor. Yeah, that's right. Because Jesus has that kind of power. In the book of John, you're going to see this later on. At one point, a bunch of soldiers are coming to Jesus, and they say, who are you? And Jesus says, I am. And the scriptures say specifically that the second he said, I am, everybody fell to the floor on their faces. Like, there's incredible power in Jesus' name, and it's who Jesus is, right? This guy comes running at him. Jesus says, come out, evil spirit. Dude falls down, but then the spirit starts shrieking. And he's screaming, and he's saying, hey, Son of God, which, by the way, this should have told the disciples, okay, this is a normal situation, because we've never met this guy, and he's never met us, but he knows who Jesus is. In fact, this guy knows who Jesus is more so than the disciples do at this point. Because they're still sort of figuring out this whole Messiah thing. But this demon-possessed dude's got it down. Hey, Justice, coming in, sweetie. So he starts shrieking. Says, don't mess with us. Please don't mess with us. These are the demons, and it's plural for a reason. Keep reading. Verse 9, Jesus demanded, what is your name? And he replied, my name is Legion, because there's many of us inside of this man. Then the evil spirits begged him again and again not to send them to some distant place. Some of your Bibles, you might see the word abyss. I'm going to explain that in just a second, okay? All right. So it's not just one demon, it's many demons. In fact, it's so many demons that collectively they're known as legion. Legion is a Roman war term. Specifically, it's a grouping of soldiers. 6,000 soldiers. That's a lot of demons. Now, we don't know if there were actually 6,000 demons or if it was just kind of like, there's so many that's in here, we're kind of like a legion. But either way, it's not just one demon that's inside of this. Actually, again, it's two guys. It's not just one. But Mark, it's easy when you're reading this, you kind of forget about the other guys. But either way, can you imagine? So I'm not asking if you're crazy but how many of you have trouble sometimes getting your mind to settle? I totally do, right? Like just whether it's anxiety or just frustration, or like you just gotta, and we say it's sort of like voices in your head, right? But you're wrestling with your own thoughts, and maybe you're remembering stuff that people have said to you. And so when that happens, like your brain feels a little bit like in overdrive, right? But I want you to imagine actually having spiritual beings inside of your body who have the ability to communicate with your mind and are frequently telling you to do things that you would not normally do. In fact, any human being would not normally do. People don't, I forgot to mention this guy's naked. Just to make it one step weirder, right? Yeah. Naked in a cemetery, screaming, shrieking, probably bleeding from cutting himself, running at Jesus. This is a weird day. People don't normally do that. At least not people who aren't high, or again, something legitimately wrong with their brain. Don't you imagine having those kind of voices in your head and having a bunch of those kind of voices in your head that are constantly saying to you, hey, do this, do that, take off your clothes, run around, scream, shriek, cut yourself, attack other people, do it all again. Like the dude probably felt like he was losing his mind, right? Absolutely. Again, sometimes just amongst our own anxiety and the stuff that we deal with, we feel like we're losing our mind. Imagine having actual voices like that inside your head. That would be awful. You're starting to understand why Jesus would leave Israel to come help these two guys, right? Because that's what Jesus does. Keep reading. Verse 11. There happened to be a large herd of pigs feeding on the hillside nearby. Send us into those pigs, the spirit begs. Let us enter those. So not the demon. So Jesus gave them permission. The evil spirits came out of the man and entered the pigs, and the entire herd of about 2,000 pigs plunged down to the steep hillside into the lake and drowned in the water. Because again, the story wasn't weird enough already, right? By the way, Jewish guys and pigs, they don't go together, right? So there were pigs at least somewhere nearby, and I promise you the disciples were looking at this crazy guy, and some of them would have been protective of Jesus, but they also would have been looking at those pigs going, I don't like that. Like dead people and pigs and crazy people, and it's dark, and that freaking storm, like everything's messed up right now, Lord. And Jesus is not even paying attention to them, right? But Jesus is talking to these guys, and specifically he's talking to the demons inside of them. And they keep begging him, please, 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 please don't send us away to the abyss. So here's what the abyss is. If you remember from our study of Revelation, which I know feels like it was 100 years ago, because that was pre-COVID, right? The word abyss pops up multiple times. In short, what the abyss is that is a prison for the supernatural realm specifically made for demons. And there are a number of demons that God has already sent to the abyss where they are forever locked away. They're not forever locked away. That's just their holding place until Jesus is going to throw them into hell. And they know that. And really big, bad, ugly, uber, awful demons that Jesus isn't going to release until Revelation happens. Remember, we covered that a couple of different times too, like really big ones called Apollyon, which means the destroyer. right? He's going to be released at some point. Some of you might be thinking, I think that dude's out now. Life's pretty crazy right now, right? Yeah, no, we haven't seen anything yet. I think. I don't know. But there's this thing called the abyss, which abyss is a word for the bottomless pit. And there's a doorway on it, and there's a chain on it, and the only one that has the keys to that is Michael the Archangel, and he's the one that's in charge, among other things, keeping that door closed. And then occasionally, Jesus tosses other demons in there. Like they reach a point where Jesus, okay, you're done. You know, if y'all ever got told by your parents, hey, go to your room. Yeah, the spiritual equivalent of that for Jesus is, hey, go to the abyss. You're done now. Right? And so they're begging. Think about this. Like these are demons begging for mercy from Jesus. But check this out. Jesus showed them mercy. You know, why would he do that? Well, I think there's one, maybe two very specific reasons for that. But one for sure specific reason. I'm absolutely convinced that. You know, I want you to imagine you're these two guys. And however long they've been dealing with this issue, they feel like they're losing their minds. And they live in a place where the supernatural realm really isn't understood or acknowledged so much. They just know this guy's crazy. And this poor guy, or this poor guys, who probably are in the same boat, they don't understand what's wrong with them. And now all of a sudden, this dude jumps out of a boat and he's talking to you, but he's not really talking to you. And there's a voice coming out of you that's not really your voice. And all of a sudden, the voice goes, let us go with the pigs. And the other guy goes, okay, you can go to the pigs. And now all of a sudden, it's like 2,000 pigs. A lot of pigs, right? 2,000 pigs all of a sudden go running and cliff dive into the Sea of Galilee and all die. You see that. And all of a sudden, as you're watching that, you don't hear the voices anymore. And I don't know how long this guy's been hearing these voices, but all of a sudden they stop because the dude in front of you told them to stop and go away. Has your life dramatically changed all of a sudden? And the proof of the things went away, and I know they went away because I just watched them run away and die in the Sea of Galilee. And by the way, there were other people there. It says the herdsmen, okay, the people that were there watching the pigs, they would have been watching the show because when you're watching pigs, there's not a lot to do, right? So they would have seen the dude jump out of the boat. They would have heard the guy screaming and screeching, and all of a sudden they would have heard him say, okay, you go to the pigs, and all of a sudden the pigs run away. They watched the whole, yeah. You had one job, dude, and you failed. Now, they heard this whole thing. Hey, the crazy guys that everyone makes fun of, the crazy guys we tried to chain up, all of a sudden, he's not acting crazy. Then our pigs went nuts, and they're all gone now. We should probably go tell everybody in town what happened. And so they did. I'm just going to finish telling the story. And all the people, which again, it's nighttime now. Maybe it's just some of the early morning hours. People come running out to town, specifically the people who own the pigs come running out to town. And the men that they've seen for however long, absolutely nuts. Now it says that they are seated at Jesus' feet, and they're clothed, and they're in the right mind. And by the way, if you're sitting at someone's feet, that means that you're being taught. And I can't tell you for sure what Jesus taught them, but I'm fairly certain Jesus said, okay, let me explain to you what's been going on in your life. Hi, I'm Jesus, Son of God. The way I can prove that to you is all of those beings just left, right? And I don't know how long all of this went down. It would have taken some time, obviously. But the town people come around him. The two crazy people are now clothed, which actually, this is kind of cool. Chances are really, really good the disciples just didn't have spare clothing laying around, which means some of them would have given up some of their clothing for these guys to wear now. It's kind of cool, right? They're clothed. Listen to Jesus. Everyone else comes running up. They're asking, what happened? What happened? And the herdsman told them the story. And then they all look at Jesus, and you'd think they would all go, hey, Lord, like you who apparently has a lot of power, we've got some other crazy people on the other side of town, right? We got them locked up in the other cemetery. Or, you know what? My hip's been giving me problems or whatever, right? And I know they don't have a full understanding of what's going on. Like, they don't even have the Jewish background of understanding who the Messiah is and what's coming. But you would think they would go, holy crap, this dude's got some power. Maybe, just maybe, we should listen to him. But instead they said, you need to go away now. Like, right now. We don't want anything to do with you. And a lot of scholars like to suggest, and I don't think it's entirely wrong, part of them are just angry because all of their pigs are dead now. And apparently it's your fault. So literally, think about this. They see these two guys that are now healed and everything's right in their life, but they look at the fact that their pigs are dead and they go, we don't care about them. We care about our pigs. You go away. So literally, they cared more about their finances and their possessions than they care about other people's lives. The other possibility, and this could be just as real, and we don't get told entirely, but they were just scared. Because the two people that they've been dealing with for forever, that they didn't know how to control, all of a sudden this one guy jumps off a boat, and now they're doing everything he says. Which means, I don't know, those guys were crazy. Maybe he's crazy too, and like they're plotting on us. I have no idea. But either way, he needs to go away. And so they send him away. And here's what's amazing. Like Jesus didn't say, forget you guys, like I'm the Son of God. Go to hell or like anything. Jesus says, okay, I'll go away. Except for the two demoniacs who aren't demoniacs anymore. They'll say, can we please go with you? Which is understandable. These people have chained us up. They've beaten us. They've hurt us. They've made fun of us. I don't want to be around them anymore. You are the kindest person I've ever met in my life. You just saved me and changed my life. I want to go with you. And Jesus says, no, you need to stay here. Why? Say it again. Yeah. Hey, that dude just changed my life. Let me tell you, however long it took him to get here, whether it was 30 minutes or an hour or two, or I don't know, however long Jesus had the opportunity to teach them, let me tell you what he taught me. Let me tell you who he is and what he taught me. And again, they're not Jews. They have the gospel spreading in a very unique way. And by the way, the disciples who were freaking out because of the pigs and the graves and like all of this unclean stuff. And then a whole bunch of non-Jews come running up too. And now Jesus is helping them too. They would have been losing their minds until they realized like, wow, Jesus really does care about everyone. Wasn't expecting that. We've seen him help a bunch of other people that no one else wanted to do. Actually, no one else wanted anything to do with us too. But now he's helping people that aren't Jews. Wow, Jesus really does love everyone. That's weird. Here's what you catch in a story. A couple of things. This would be the biggest one. Right? I love the fact that Jesus shows us that he has power not only over the spiritual realm, but also the urges that the spiritual realm points us to. Here's what I mean by that. When we're tempted, that word tempt, right? That means that there's an outside source, usually there's an outside source, that is coaxing us to do something that we know is not right, right? That's generally how we use that word. Generally speaking, who's the source of temptation? Yeah, ultimately it's Satan, right? Sometimes it's other human beings, but that's other, Satan's influence in other human beings to tempt us to do the wrong thing. The Bible makes it incredibly clear. God never tempts us, ever. So temptation comes from the enemy in some form or fashion. Sometimes it's through our friends. Sometimes it's just our own flesh. We just want stuff that's not godly, and we just don't care what anyone else thinks. So sometimes we tempt ourselves, and other times we're tempted by the enemy. But here's what's really, really cool. Jesus just proved not only does he have power over the enemy, he has power to tell the enemy to go away, but he has the power to help us control the urges that those temptations lead to. Remember, what did I say? The demoniac. What kind of stuff was he wanting to do? Bad. Give me specifics. He's cutting himself. Fighting people. So, self-harm. Self-harm. Hurting other people. He's shrieking and screaming. And again, he probably wasn't saying nice words, right? Okay? So the use of profanity and just unkindness towards others. Keep reading. How was he dressed? He wasn't dressed. Nakedness. Okay, hang on. So back up. In our world today, do we deal with nakedness, people that shouldn't be naked? Yes. Like, hopefully, like, people aren't just randomly walking in your house naked. But do people do inappropriate things clothing-wise, sometimes in public, sometimes in private? But do people do that?
Yes.
Absolutely. Do people yell and scream and curse and just say mean things to other people?
Yes.
Do people self-harm?
Yes.
Do people harm other people?
Yes.
These are not new things, is what I'm trying to help you. But guys, here's what's awesome. Like, Jesus really is the answer to all of those. Like, he knows how to help us in those situations, which means, by the way, and this is maybe the most important thing for you here tonight, if you are a person that is tempted in any of those ways, and chances are really, really good, all of you are tempted at least in one of those ways, including others, Jesus is the one who can help you with that. In fact, Jesus is the only one who can help you with that. See, because everyone else, like, remember, they literally, like, they were trying to chain this dude down. And I'm assuming when they chained him down, they would probably try to cover him too. Okay? And it didn't matter what they did to him. Every effort they tried to fix their problems, it didn't work. And all of a sudden, Jesus shows up and bam, it's done. I know that sounds really simplistic, and in some ways it is. But guys, the truth is, Jesus really is the answer to our temptations. You got to hear that, man. You're tempted because the enemy wants to ruin your life. And by the way, one of the ways that you can know the enemy was trying to ruin this life is not only the stuff that he was making us do, but the second they got inside of those pigs, they didn't run around the slop and go, oink, 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 yay, we're free. What did they do immediately? Didn't that feel weird? Like, why would they go kill themselves? Like, they just got their own freedom. Here's what you got to know. John 10:10 says that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. That is their only goal. They want to destroy and kill and steal from you. That's their objective in your life. That was their objective in this guy's life. That was their objective once they got inside the pig. That's all they know how to do. There is nothing the enemy that generally wants to help you or make your life better. They like to trick you. And they've been, by the way, because they're spirits, they've been around for forever, so they're really good at tricks. They're really, really good at tricks. But their goal is to destroy you. And so the stuff they're tempting you to do, it's not because, hey, this would be fun. It's not just to get you to ignore Jesus. Their ultimate goal is for you to be destroyed. Stolen from, killed, and destroyed. But destroyed is actually a reference to hell. That's the ultimate end. They want you to lose stuff in life. They want you to die. They want you to go to hell. That's their goal. Now, I don't think pigs go to hell. But when they got in those pigs, okay, we can kill the pigs. Boom. And they did. So, guys, you got to understand that when you're tempted to sin, don't go in your head, okay, this is just a little thing. It's not a big deal. As all sin leads to death. Always. It's progressive. Because I promise you, just little bitty sins that we tolerate in our lives, you go, oh, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. I can handle that. All of a sudden, you're used to doing this sin, and so you're taking one more, well, okay, that sin's not a big deal. I guess this sin's not a big deal. And all of a sudden, now you're over here on the other side of the room going, how did I get from there to here? And it's because we tolerate sin in little bitty ways. But all sin leads to death. It's all one road pointing in that direction. Again, Jesus is the answer. Not only to set us free from those things, but just to help us how to deal with that, including those temptations. And the last thing is this. Guys, don't be, and I wish we could talk about this one, don't be a person that is more concerned either with your possessions or other people's possessions, that you care more about that than you care about not only your own life and your own soul or other people's souls. Sometimes, for help in other people's life to happen, some stuff has to be lost. Sometimes in your life, for help to happen, some stuff has to be lost. But stuff doesn't matter, people do. And the way that I can prove that to you, again, just see how Jesus operated. Just like there. He didn't flinch because of the pigs. He cared deeply. In fact, he traveled a long distance to come help these two men that weren't even Jews. Let me pray for us and we'll get out of here, okay? Father, thank you so very much for your word and for this passage. I know it's a story that a lot of us have heard a ton, Father, myself included. But man, it's so helpful for us to hear how you really can't help. And you do frequently. And so, Father, I pray that all of us, whether we feel like there's a lot going on in our lives or not, that we really would fall on our faces before you and seek your help. And you will, Jesus, because that's what you do. Thank you for loving us like that. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Hey, guys, I love y'all. Glad you're here tonight. We'll see you later, okay? Oh, come to lunch tomorrow. Yes, we.
I didn't want to annoy you during you were teaching, but I wrote down all my questions that I had. You answered, and then these three you didn't.
I don't know. I wanted the same thing.
Okay.
I kind of think so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So with the pigs down.
Okay, that's better. So you already get
Where they went from there, I have no idea. I don't know if they got some other fishes. I don't know.
some other fish, I guess.
There you go. Yeah. Awesome. Yes.
Animals go to heaven.
Animals go to heaven. This was cool. I don't know if all animals here there are animals.
Awesome.
So, I don't know if all dogs go to heaven. I don't know if our dogs are going to, but there's going to be dogs in heaven. And it's for sure going to be lions. My wife's going to be snakes. But little kids get to play with snakes, meaning you don't have to be afraid of sick snakes. But my opinion is if snakes get in, surely dogs get in. You know what I'm saying?
And horses get it. So I'm set.
Yeah.
I'm set for the rest of eternity.
Jesus rides a horse.
And
Yeah.
hopefully horses in heaven I don't have to muck stalls. That's nice.
You like the job?
I love it. It's so fun. And today we played a game, and like the students and the handlers switched places. So I was riding, and the handler was leading the horse, and we had to fill up a cup with water, and we had to go back and forth trying to get as much water in the opposite bucket as we could. And I won against a girl that's been riding for like 6 years.
Yesterday it took 10 days for that 30. Today it took like 2.
At the doctor, it took me 45 minutes to get
Yours
it.
took me so long. Like
My stuff's in her car.
Hi guys, doctor. I love you. Doctor loves me. I love you.
Say bye to people.
Love you.
Bye, people. No one's on. Oh wait, yes, there's 2 people on. I don't know who it is.
Excellent.